So I always think that I have said my final words on coffee. Then someone comes out again with how coffee is great, and I'm like, I get new ideas or new perspectives. And this is a response to Rhonda Patrick, who's come out with a video on coffee, on its ubiquity, as so often is the case with coffee, how ubiquitously great coffee is. And to begin with, I always want to encourage this sort of thought where it is logical that something can't be good for everyone. Okay, and so why is coffee not good for everyone? Well, because coffee is a stimulant. Some people are naturally stimulated. Um, some people are just more dehydrated naturally, right? And so coffee is dehydrating, stimulating. Probably these people would do better with less coffee or no coffee, right? Coffee was originally from Ethiopia, which is a damp, very damp, coastally at least. Don't quote me on this, but it is damper than, say, a dry northern country. Okay, so coffee is nature's fruit for balancing damp environments or bodies and hot environments or bodies. So if you have heat or dampness in your body, coffee will remedy that, right? But if you don't have these things, then coffee will just keep winding you, right? This is why nature is sort of perfect, right? Because it always um, puts in things at the right place at the right time, right? So we exported the coffee, we made it egregore. An egregore is a sort of entity, so it's almost like a life of its own, and that is because every morning, you have in one time zone just billions of people waking up and going coffee, coffee, right? And that's whether you are subscribing to magic or not, that is a powerful collective apprehension, right? To wake up 1 billion people plus and everybody just go coffee. I mean, it's literally unprecedented, right? In these worlds, the only thing that's comparable is the internet and gas, right? Everybody's like on the internet, driving their car, having their coffee, and so what I want to say is Rudolf Steiner also, right, had beautiful ideas about coffee. Coffee is something that is inductive of logic. So it's good for journalists, it's good for point A to point B thinking. Coffee is disembodying because it squeezes the body and activates the mind. Coffee is also, if it goes far enough, a replacement of will. And this is why so many people can't do without coffee. They're addicted to their will being outside of themselves. So they can't just wake up and go, all right, let's get to it. They have to wake up and go, they go for their coffee because the coffee has become a sort of gatekeeper of will, right? But I've synthesized today an even more important point about coffee than all of these things, and that is, this is why let's try to make this beautiful. Coffee is, why do Italians drink coffee so successfully? They popularized the espresso, maybe all of coffee they popularized. Why are they so successful at drinking coffee? Well, because Italians are unprecedentedly or unimitably in touch with their emotions across the sexes. So both men and women in Italy are very good chakrically. I made that word up, but chakrically the Italians are very successful. They are all they're mind, body, heart, right? Plus they sit down for their coffee. They sit down with good company and have their coffee, and this is also how the coffee hits them differently. Okay, it hits their colorful, pleasant life. It's not a marca pacipino that they have on the go, American style, as they are rushing off to work because gotta get up and be somebody, as old dirty bastards said. Okay, coffee was not necessarily meant for the gotta get up and be somebody lifestyle. And Italians feel this intuitively. They sit down, they go, oh, buono, buono, buono. They have their coffee, um, and that's that, right? That's that. So the important point is if you have coffee and you live a life that you hate or that you absolutely feel you must be doing because this is for some reason an idea you've gotten, an idea that's been passed down to you, and you drink coffee on that, what happens is you accumulate frustrations that just become denser and denser. So much so that you later not just scared to quit coffee for the lack of energy, but for what you will find in terms of accumulated frustrations beneath your disembodiment, right? So this is what a lot of people also they face spiritual issues when they it's not just psychology, it's literally like what the fuck is life about, right? So I say very much no, coffee is not ubiquity. Addicts will defend their coffee habits staunchly. This is really the only red flag we need here. And God bless, right? This is so personal, just as alcoholism is. Everybody is different with alcohol because everybody's different. Everybody's different with coffee. Everybody has coffee means something else to them personally, right? But notice, just notice the first thing that happens is when people ubiquitously recommend coffee, it's like, oh yeah, all right, my coffee, yeah, my job, I'm a cup of bean. But if someone says, look, coffee, everybody's like, oh, they start referring to the longevity studies and the this and the that. If I loved coffee for the love of coffee, I wouldn't need to defend it, right? If I loved coffee because I actually love it, I would just go, huh, all right. But it's when there's a dog in the game, right? It's when the dog and there's a dog in the fight. You go like, ah, my coffee. And actually, some final words on the coffee in terms of it being longevity driving. I think I see a sort of paradox here as well. I remember there was a study that a Swedish king did. I think it was in the 19th century. I did a video on this in the channel when I first started it. Where the king took two twins, right, and he had one twin drink tea for a whole year and one twin drink coffee. Um, and so the coffee drinking twin was way healthier afterwards, right? And there, I think that yes, this is absolutely possible, but I also say that imagine you can live a longer life and a more fierce life, but it still will be a life of frustration because you are too um, far up in your mind. You're thinking so much about what you got to be doing, and then you're doing that, but it's not really what your embodied self wants to be doing. So, ironically, you can have a much worse life that is longer due to coffee than you would have if you didn't drink coffee and your life were shorter, but you were actually doing very embodied stuff, you know, and each day felt much better and even longer than a whole day, right? So this is not to be ruled out. Like longevity is a very equivocal term, right? It's like, yeah, a lot of people live longer these days. Well, what sort of life is it, you know?